Hello everyone, my name is Clarissa Gossett and I'm joining you today to show you in Floriani Total Control U how you can take an applique design and turn it into a filled design. The project that's associated with this video is a wreath that has patriotic emblems around the wreath, and the emblems are 2.5 inches across. So to do an applique on something that small, these pieces would be really tiny. So I liked the design, but I wanted it to be filled instead of an applique. So the design set I used excuse me, is Americana by Floriani. And let's see a picture of those designs. Let's see right here. So there's a picture of all the designs in the Americana collection for Floriani. And each of those designs is about 6 inches across. So they're perfect for applique at larger sizes, but we're going to turn them into fills so we can stitch them smaller. So I'm going to open my Total Control, and we're going to work on this design. That's the picture you just saw. That's this one here. That's what it looks like finished. So let's go back here. Alright, so first what we have to do is we open our design, of course, and then we have to start thinking about size and order. So first thing I want to do is I want to select the entire thing, and I like kind of working more straight up and down as far as size goes. So I'm going to select all items. I can do it here, or I can do a quick Control A on my keyboard, and that gets all the items. So then I'm going to use this little round circle in the corner here and just straighten this up a bit. And there we go. And then I'm going to go over to the properties box with this selected. I go click this arrow on the right side, and that brings up this icon called transform. Transform is secret code word for resize. And I want the width to be about 2.5 for these emblems. So about 2.5, and click apply. And let's zoom it back out to fit my entire screen by double clicking the magnifying glass. There we go. And if we want, we can measure some of these pieces. The first thing I got thinking about are the little stars. So I have a tape measure on the left side under the magnifying glass. So I click the tape measure, I measure across the star. At the end of my tape measure it says it's 0.27 inches. That is really tiny. That's 1/4 of an inch, and I don't want to stitch 1/4 inch stars, 8 of them. So what I'm going to do instead, to turn off your ruler, you click the selection tool. Oh, and by the way, I've moved my toolbar to the right side here because I like working with all this space. So to do that, you just grab an end and drag it to where you want it. So just grab it and drag it over to the side. You can drag it to the other side if you'd like. Either way. I'm going to go down in my properties box, excuse me, in my sequence view. Actually, I'm going to expand the sequence view by clicking properties, and that expands the sequence view. So we can see that white is 2 colors. The first color is a tack down stitch for the applique, and then a cutting line. So this is a raw edge applique. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select these stars, and I'm going to delete them because I don't want to stitch them that small. So click that and delete them. Alright, so the next thing I'm going to talk about are layers. So in my opinion, we stitch this direction and then put this blue on last to kind of go over the stripes. So let's start selecting sections. Excuse me, sorry. If we expand this, well, this first one is our tack down line, or no, excuse me, our placement line. Tack down line is somewhat larger than our placement line, so I'd like to select this one. So let's expand that view, and we can see that we have a run, and you can see it highlighted here, and a run, and a run. So the first thing I'm going to do is select this first run. Select it, and once it's selected, I have my one-click wonders available at the bottom down here, and click a standard fill. Yay, now it's filled with stitches. And we're going to do the same. We can select them both at the same time. I could have selected this too by selecting it, then clicking Shift and getting them all, and then click our standard fill at the bottom, and now they're filled. That wasn't hard at all. All right, so some things that I want to consider at this point. Let's measure across this. Click our ruler and go left to right here. And it's about 1/4 of an inch once again across that stripe. So some things I can do, if you'll notice in the picture, these ended up being satin stitches instead of a fill pattern. This was too big to be a satin stitch, so I changed these. Instead of that fill pattern, I changed them to a satin stitch. So let's select one of those stripes. And I want to see the angle that it's filled. If I'm going to do a satin, I grabbed it. If I want to do a satin, I want my angle to go across this way. So to see the angle that that's filling, we're going to click the shape tool. And that's pretty good. Let's straighten that angle up and right click to apply it. All right, let's check this angle as well. And straighten that up a little bit and right click. All right, so select this, change to our selection tool instead of our shape tool. And once that's selected, let's minimize our sequence view by clicking the properties box there, and going down in our pattern selection, let's go down to satin and click apply. Great, now I have a beautiful satin instead of a fill pattern. Let's do the same here. And satins do have limitations. If this gets too big and I try to apply a satin to it, it will not look good. It'll actually kind of crack up the view on your screen. So it just won't look pretty. All right, so let's do the white. Let's expand our sequence view again. And let's select the second white. And that selected them both, and let's fill them. And once again, let's check their angles using our shape tool on the left side and straightening that up so it'll be pretty satin. Right click to apply it, select here, straighten that up, right click to apply it. Select them both in our sequence view and minimize our sequence view and select satin and apply. All right, now let's zoom in and we can see that our stitches are not meeting each other, okay, because that run stitch is designed to go into the fabric somewhat, so it's not as large as the area we want to fill. So what we can do to fix that is we can expand the size of the stitching. So to do that, let's select, turn off the magnifier, select one of the stitches. Now we can decide if we want to do the red or the white. I think I'm going to do the white because the red is somewhat large to begin with, so select the white here. And let's minimize, and we can use our roller bar to on our mouse to decrease the size of our view. And once I select it, I'm going to select my shape tool, and then I get nodules that I can use to move the stitching. So going back up, let's go over here and start dragging these, and we want them to overlap the red a bit. So just slide them out to overlap the red a bit. And grab, let's see, the blue squares. There we go. And this is our start and stop. Let's make it start and stop in the same place. Maybe about here. And let's grab this blue square. And going down. little bit more. Our square might be under here. Nope, it's not. It's down here. Okay, there we go. So drag that out. A little bit more at the end down here, and then we'll be done. There, there, and there, and there. You kind of want to, whoops, we missed this one. I missed this one. And move that out a little bit there. Okay, and then right click and apply. Let's select it, and that looks much better. Let's zoom back out. Good. So now we can see that this satin stitch is going to meet up with the red satin stitch, and we do the same over here. Just select it, shape tool, and move the nodules out to meet the red on both sides. Okay. The last section we want to do, let's go down in our sequence view, is the blue section. We'll select the second blue, and we'll select our fill pattern, and it filled with a neutral fill pattern, something not too fancy. And let's maybe go to our fancy fills. Click fancy, and I actually really like this first one a lot. I use it quite a bit. Click there, and there we go. That's cute. This is very small. That fancy fill pattern has large type diamonds on it. So we can change the emboss scale. Let's change it to about 50%. That means those emboss shapes will be half the size. Click apply. There we go. Good. Now you can see we've got that same problem with the blue. So let's zoom in on the blue and select it. Grab our shape tool and just start moving these nodules towards the red. And that was my start, so we'll move that back here. Oh, I've got one more up here to move. One here. You'll see that they're not moved because you get that pink line to tell you where you're moving it to. And remember, we removed the stars. I still want stars, but I just don't want filled stars because it'll get pretty dense on top of that blue area that we're playing with right now. Whoop. Grab the wrong nodule. Hello. Move our start out of the way. Move that over there. Whoops, and one more to move here somewhere. Well, actually, this got kind of crooked. So let's move our stop out of the way, and let's right click that nodule right there and make it symmetrical. There we go, straightened it right out. And right click, and now our stitches are meeting the red. And back out. Good, cute. All right, last thing, I want to add those stars back in, but I just want some outline stars. So let's open a new page and make some outline stars. All right, in my symbols tool right here, it looks like a yellow clover. Click symbol. And it opens this menu, and if you click the drop down arrow, go down to star. Star. I liked this kind of misshapen star, not so straight. Once I've selected that, my mouse is now my drawing tool, and I want the stars to be about 1/4 of an inch, remember? There we go. Last thing, and I forgot to mention this, I mention it usually at the beginning of most of my videos. My screen has been set up that these squares are 1/4 inch and this is 1 inch. So to do that, you do that in your settings menu, in your program preferences. Go to environment, change this to inches, then change your grid to 0.25, 0.25, 4, and 4, and say OK. Now I know that that star is about 1/4 of an inch. And let's zoom in on it by double clicking it, double clicking the magnifying glass. Good. All right, next thing. I just want an outline star, remember? So I'm going to select it. I'm going to use my artwork tool called Create Outlines, this one right here. And we want one outline around it. This will just draw an outline around it. And say 0. And now I've got my artwork outline down at the bottom. All right, now let's change that into a run stitch by clicking on the run in the bottom left corner. Now it's a run stitch, and then once it's selected, I'm going to make it a small run stitch. We just want it maybe 2.0, and we want it to run around that star twice. Do a double run and click apply. Great. So let's copy it. Go back to our page we were working on and paste it. Whoops, maybe I didn't have it selected. Hold on. Here we go. Let's see. Yes, I need the run selected. Let's copy the run. Back to our page. Don't know why it won't copy and paste. Well, who knows? Let's move it away from the other star, maybe. And let's delete this. We don't need that anymore. We don't need our artwork anymore. And it is a run. That's good. So let's zoom back out. That's good. All right, let's see it in 3D. Make sure it is a run. Yeah, it's a run with kind of big stitches. Let's apply that 2.0 again. Click apply. I've got a little bit smaller stitches. Copy it. Don't know why it's not copying pasting. Well, we can always do this. Go File, Save As, and let's just save it on the desktop. We'll just call it Star. Click Save. Well, this is another lesson to learn. Once I'm back here, to add another design to this, I go File, Merge Design. Let's find that star on our desktop and open it. And actually, let's make it gold so we can kind of see it against the background a little bit better. And gold is actually down this end. Oops, let's say that one right there. Oops, gotta select it first. And down this end, sorry. And Inca Gold, grab it and drag it up here. Good. And let's copy it. Maybe it'll copy this time. Select it here. Copy, paste, and put another one on down here. Cute. Now I have enough room to make this. Well, let's select it here. It's going to be hard to select over there on top of the blue. Select it here and let's make it larger. Select the second one. Make it larger. Whoop, not the blue. Thank heavens for undo, huh? Second star, there we go, and grab the corner there. And move it over here a little bit. And there we go. Cute. So then I would, of course, go File, Save As, save it to your desktop, your USB stick, wherever you choose to save it. I'm not going to save mine, but there we have it. Now we have our embroidered design instead of an applique, and that wasn't too difficult at all. Oh, and what you could do, I forgot to mention, what you want to do at this point is you want to remove all the run stitches. So I don't want that run anymore. And I don't want that, well, actually that turned into a satin. And so what you can do, is go to Run, All Segments, and Show Run. So here are all the run stitches that remain. So let's select them all by touching Control on my keyboard, get all 3, and delete the run stitches so we don't have those stitching out. There we go. Now we would save it. All right. Thank you very much for your time today, and hope you have fun playing around with appliques and turning them into fill patterns. And hope you enjoy this project. Thank you very much. Happy sewing.